Morgan Harrington disappeared on Saturday, October 17, 2009. When a person disappears without a trace, often the most critical information is hidden in their actions and words from the days before they vanished. Morgan Harrington's last known whereabouts may hold the clues to what happened to her. A beautiful 20-year-old Virginia Tech co-ed is looking forward to an evening of fun at a Metallica concert.
I mean, Morgan was kind of like champagne. Morgan was bubbly and cause for celebration.
At the concert, Morgan leaves her seat and doesn't return.
Even though she was warned that if she left, she would not be allowed to re-enter, for some unexplained reason, Morgan walked out the front doors.
Strangers report seeing her later that night.
It's 3:45 in the morning, and I was like, why is she out here with a mini skirt on, out here, her legs out, and she's with these three guys?
But her friends and family never see her again.
It's a strange place and time to be where your best case scenario is you're hoping your daughter is held against her will.
The police struggle to find viable leads in the case.
We had a girl we knew was missing, we had a purse, we had a cell phone, and that's it. I remember looking at the investigators and saying, we have a problem.
It's Saturday, October 17th, 2009. 20-year-old Virginia Tech junior Morgan Harrington is at her parents' house in Roanoke, Virginia, getting ready for a night out with friends.
Morgan liked getting ready. I think girls do. The part of the fun is the anticipation of going out. So we chose an outfit together that Morgan thought was danceable, but looked nice, and chose her jewelry.
Morgan has been living independently for 3 years now. She shares an apartment near campus with a friend. But she frequently drops by her parents' house, just 45 minutes away.
Morgan came home probably, I would say, twice a week, sometimes just for a couple hours.
So it seemed like it was a lot easier for Morgan to throw her laundry in the car and come here and push it in the door and say, Mama, here it is, and flop down and watch TV with Dan, and miraculously end up having had dinner and spent some time with her papa and have clean laundry all at the same time.
Tonight, she is going to a much-anticipated Metallica concert. A huge music fan, Morgan got the ticket as a gift from her father. For Morgan, this concert is the event of the year.
As soon as she heard that they were coming, she made sure that when tickets came available online, that Dan was there and bought tickets. And those tickets were magneted to our refrigerator for months, waiting for the day to come.
Morgan settles on a black vintage t-shirt with the band Pantera logo. A black miniskirt, black tights, and black boots. She completes her look with some family heirloom jewelry and a black purse that she can wear as a backpack.
She looked lovely, but Morgan could wear a burlap sack and look lovely.
Morgan has a very close relationship with her parents, Dan and Jill.
It's a wonderful time in the life of a parent when you finally have, it's not a peer-level relationship, but an adult relationship with your children. And Morgan had gotten there.
Dan and Jill enjoyed watching the youngest of their two children blossom from a spirited little girl into a beautiful and mature young woman.
Morgan was a lot of fun. I mean, Morgan was kind of like champagne. Morgan was bubbly and cause for celebration.
A blonde-haired, blue-eyed stunner, Morgan Dana Harrington has the bright personality to match her looks.
Morgan was this really sweet, beautiful girl. I always said that she was as beautiful inside as she was on the outside.
Now in her third year of college, Morgan is planning on becoming a teacher when she graduates. Although she prides herself on her independence, Morgan still sometimes struggles with her finances. She relies on her father to help her. In fact, on Sunday after the concert, she plans on coming back to her parents' house just for that reason.
The plan had been for Morgan to come back on Sunday, and I was going to help her with math and also help her balance her checkbook, which was not one of her favorite things to do.
By noon that Saturday, Morgan is out the door. The plan is to pick up her roommate Amy and 2 other friends before heading to the concert at the John Paul Jones Arena at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville.
I believe what they were planning to do was to spend the night after the concert in Harrisonburg because it's closer, and then she was coming back.
Later that afternoon, Morgan calls her father on his cell phone to check in. She's picked up Amy, and the 2 have just arrived at James Madison University, where they are meeting the rest of the crew.
The last time I spoke with Morgan was around 2 or 2:30 when she called me from James Madison to let me know she had arrived safely.
At 7 p.m., the John Paul Jones Arena at the University of Virginia is bustling with Metallica fans. Morgan and her 3 friends take their seats as the opening band warms up the crowd. At about 8:15 p.m., Morgan tells her friends she is going to the restroom. When she is not back half an hour later, Morgan's friend Sarah calls her cell phone to find out where she is. Morgan tells her she ended up outside the arena and can't get back in. The venue has a strict no re-entry policy. Since Sarah has Morgan's car key, Morgan tells her she'll find a ride home and hangs up the phone. Sunday, October 18th. Dan Harrington is expecting his daughter home so they can balance her checkbook. Morgan's mother, Jill, is at church, as she always is on Sundays, and Dan is enjoying a quiet morning at home.
So I was doing my usual thing, and I wasn't concerned because I thought she would be home about noon.
At 11 a.m., Dan gets a phone call that leaves him puzzled, but not yet alarmed.
I had received a call about maybe 11 o'clock from the University of Virginia police who told me that someone had turned in a purse that was found, and it was Morgan's, and with her ID in the purse. And I thought that was strange, but then I thought, well, you know, maybe getting in the car, Morgan dropped her purse, and boy, she was really going to be angry.
I can remember Dan turning to me and saying, gosh, you won't believe it. University of Virginia has called and someone has found Morgan's purse. But I don't think he realized the importance and the impact of it. But I could just feel my face go white because I knew something bad had happened. If someone found Morgan's purse in a parking lot, my question immediately is where is Morgan?
Coming up, troubling reports of Morgan's appearance outside of the concert baffle and unnerve her parents.
The last place that Morgan Harrington was seen around 9:30 would have been the Copley Street Bridge, trying to catch a ride, hitchhiking.
"20-year-old Morgan Harrington fails to show up at her parents' house the morning after a rock concert at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville. Morgan's father, Dan, gets a call from the UVA police, alerting him about Morgan's lost purse.
That's one of those moments where you know your world is getting ready to change. We immediately started to get on the phone and try and locate Morgan's friends and find Morgan.
When we called them, they told us that they had not seen Morgan since the middle of the concert, and told us that Morgan had left her seat, ultimately left the arena. I called the police at the University of Virginia and told them that Morgan was missing.
The The University of Virginia police take the Harringtons' concerns very seriously. The officers conduct a search of the immediate area surrounding the John Paul Jones Arena. Now, in the overflow parking lot near the athletic fields, they find more telling evidence. Morgan's cell phone, with its battery missing.
The additional items were found on Sunday when the detective went over to the area where the purse was found. It only confirmed again my concern that something horrible had happened to Morgan.
By Sunday night, the Harringtons are frantic. They still haven't heard from Morgan, and they begin to fear the worst. After a sleepless night, in the early morning hours of Monday, October 19th, Morgan's parents make the 2-hour drive from Roanoke to Charlottesville to talk to Virginia State Police, who are now taking over the investigation.
Well, initially, the investigation was focused on a missing person, but there was no indication that there was any foul play in those first few days after she was reported missing. According to her friends, they indicated that it was not unusual for her to, go off on her own, to spend some time with another friend and to leave and then show back up the next day.
The investigators' first task is to retrace Morgan's steps on the night of her disappearance. They interview Morgan's 3 friends. According to them, Morgan had not left her seat prepared to leave the concert that night.
She did not have her keys when she became separated from her friends to go to the bathroom. Nor was there a planned rendezvous point after the concert was over.
Morgan received a cell phone call from her friend Sarah at 8:48 p.m. She told Sarah that she was unable to re-enter the arena and she was looking for a way to get back in. And finally, Morgan just told her that she was going to find her, basically just she was going to find a ride. And that was the last phone contact that anybody had with Morgan.
They even looked for her after the concert. They hung around the venue, went down to a local restaurant and tried to find her, and after many hours in the morning, they went back to Harrisonburg, Virginia, where they originated.
In a crowded public space like the John Paul Jones Arena, it's nearly impossible to avoid surveillance cameras. Investigators quickly locate video from Saturday night.
There are numerous businesses in that area, service stations, grocery stores, banks. We were able to obtain all of the video footage, surveillance video footage in that area.
Frame by frame, the investigators examine hundreds of hours of grainy surveillance footage collected from dozens of businesses.
None of the video footage that we reviewed revealed any evidence of what happened to Morgan. Nothing.
I felt certain we would have found at least a 2 or 3 second shot of Morgan Harrington outside the venue, but that just did not happen. And I can't explain it. I can only tell you that of all the video we have, there's absolutely nothing relevant to Morgan that we're aware of.
Next, police turn to the media, trying to find witnesses who might have spotted Morgan that night.
Anyone who may have seen Morgan or a young lady matching this description after October 17th, which was Saturday night, should report it to the police.
The purpose of the press conference was to try to make up time that had been lost, since she had been missing for many, many hours prior to us getting there. So we were going to flood the local media with information about Morgan Harrington as we knew it at the time.
She has long blonde hair and blue eyes. She was wearing a black t-shirt, black knee-high boots, black tights, and a black miniskirt.
I would estimate probably we interviewed over 100 people in the first 3 or 4 days of the investigation.
Ultimately, here's what we had to begin with. We had a girl we knew was missing. We had a purse. We had a cell phone. And that's it. And that's not a whole lot to work with.
While the detectives conduct witness interviews, multiple agencies comb the area around the John Paul Jones Arena for any physical evidence.
We had a tremendous amount of resources here with troopers, with canines, with helicopters. And that went on for about 2.5 days.
And we were unable to locate any other items of evidence in that area.
It's a strange place and time to be where your best case scenario is you're hoping your daughter is held against her will. But that's where we were.
By now, Morgan has been missing for more than 48 hours. Jill and Dan Harrington try to keep their hope alive.
I'd like to say if Morgan is out there and hears us, please come home. It was our daughter, and we wanted to make an appeal to Morgan or to the person who took Morgan to please let her go free. We realized the only thing that we could do to help Morgan was to be as public as possible.
And to do that, we had to be accessible to anyone who came calling. So we didn't turn down anybody.
And now to the search for 20-year-old Virginia Tech student Morgan Harrington. Good morning to both of you, and thank you for joining us. Obviously, this is a very difficult time for your family.
Thank you for having us.
The community and a nation rallies behind the Harrington family. Within 2 days, $100,000 is raised for information leading to Morgan's return. The band Metallica offers up additional reward money.
James Hetfield, who is with Metallica, called me and said that he was so sorry for Morgan's situation, and he offered a reward of $50,000.
Metallica also posts a message to their fans on the band's webpage, asking for any video taken at the concert that might help the investigation. As witness after witness comes forward online and through the police tip line, a bizarre picture of Morgan's movements outside the arena begins to emerge. At about 8:50 p.m., Morgan is spotted outside the ticket booth area.
Morgan, for whatever reason, started heading towards the main entrance, even though she was warned that if she left, she would not be allowed to re-enter. For some unexplained reason, Morgan walked out the front doors.
No one understands how her trip to the bathroom landed Morgan outside of the arena, since there are 18 clearly marked women's restrooms inside.
We identified some witnesses who were outside about to enter the arena and who encountered Morgan out there, and they said that she seemed to be a little incapacitated in some way.
Up until now, there has been no information about Morgan's behavior. But soon, multiple eyewitnesses begin giving matching accounts. They say Morgan was acting erratically outside the arena. Some reports suggest she may have sustained an injury on her chin. Though Morgan's friends admit she'd been drinking alcohol, they say she was not intoxicated.
But we don't know what happened from the time she left that seat in Section 312 until the time she wound up outside. So we don't know if she was slipped a drug. We know that she probably fell. Based on the abrasion, it wouldn't have appeared to have been a serious head wound, but we don't know that. And then certainly we know outside the venue she was fumbling through her purse, had dropped her purse and spilled its contents, and that would be inconsistent with someone who had their wits about them.
The witnesses who encountered Morgan outside the arena told us that they offered Morgan assistance, asked her if she needed help or did she need a ticket or to get in, and she said no, she had a ticket, but she refused any kind of assistance that anybody offered her.
After compiling accounts from over 100 independent eyewitnesses, the investigators have a clearer picture of Morgan's movements outside the John Paul Jones Arena. It leads them to the Copley Road Bridge over the railroad tracks to the west of the arena.
The last place that Morgan Harrington was seen around 9:30 would have been the Copley Street Bridge, trying to catch a ride, hitchhiking.
This revelation bewilders and further alarms Morgan's parents.
They said that they had two different sources that placed Morgan on the bridge, and it was hard to process that. It's very atypical behavior for Morgan. To my knowledge, Morgan has not hitchhiked before. It's not, you know, these kids all have cars. You know, you don't hitchhike.
We have a girl that's exposed now to some cold weather and some drizzle. We have a girl who doesn't have a cell phone that works. We have a desperate individual. We have a girl that's not thinking clearly. So when you're not thinking clearly, you're going to do things you normally wouldn't do. So while it wouldn't be normal for Morgan Harrington to hitchhike, on that particular night, we believe she was hitchhiking out of desperation.
Coming up, another more disturbing sighting of Morgan comes to light.
And I was like, why is she out here with a mini skirt on, out here, her legs out, and she's with these three guys?
Virginia Tech junior Morgan Harrington is missing after leaving a rock concert at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville. Witness accounts last place her on the Copley Road Bridge, apparently hitchhiking at 9:30 p.m. that evening. The police continue searching the area around the University of Virginia campus.
We searched the entire tunnel system under the University of Virginia. We ran more dogs just to see, did we miss something? And we actually started considering potential dump sites, body sites, and we actually did some covert searches of those sites.
But search after search, the investigators come up empty. As days and weeks go by, the hope of finding Morgan or solving her disappearance begins to grow dim.
At some point, your search has to be reasonable, and you have to consider your resources and what other obligations do you have to other investigations. We did not stop our searches until we were confident that we had reasonably searched the areas that need to be searched and beyond.
By December 16th, 8 weeks after Morgan vanished, investigators stopped searching.
It's frustrating and demoralizing to feel that people would quit on Morgan.
To keep their daughter in the public's mind, Morgan's parents continue to engage the media.
And to the person who has taken Morgan from us, please just let her go.
This story took on a life of its own, and that's needed when you have someone who's missing. And we figured out also that keeping Morgan's story alive kept pressure on the police.
The day after Morgan disappeared, Charlottesville's weekly paper, The Hook, launched its own investigation into the Morgan Harrington case.
I happen to be a reporter that focuses on crime, and in particular, crimes against women. It was pretty quickly apparent within a couple of days that this was going to be a really high-profile case.
Reporter Courtney Stewart begins digging through the hundreds of witness accounts online and plugging into the town gossip to see if she can unearth any new information in the case.
I attended an orientation session for volunteers who were going to participate in one of the searches, and a woman sitting sort of towards the back stood up and said, "Why has nobody returned my call? I have been trying to give you my tip. I saw her."
Norma Parson told Stewart she was delivering newspapers around the University of Virginia grounds early that Sunday morning. Around 3:45 a.m., roughly 6 hours after the Copley Road bridge sighting, she was making a delivery at the residences around the UVA campus.
When I got to the opening to the West Lawn, she was just standing there, and she was tall, blonde. Her hair was stuck inside of her jacket. So I just stood there while they walked slowly by me. I just noticed she had all black on. She had black jacket, black skirt, no tights, knee-high boots, and the 3 white young males walking with her. I felt like it's 3:45 in the morning, and I was like, why is she out here with a mini skirt on, out here, her legs out, and she's with these 3 guys? So when she walked up the steps on my side of the pavilion, I looked her dead in the face.
The next morning, Parsons says she saw Morgan Harrington's photo on the front page of the local newspaper.
I looked at the picture and light bulbs just went on in my head. I said, yeah, I saw that young lady. I saw Morgan Harrington on the West Lawn.
Parson called the tip line with her story, but she says the police didn't take her seriously.
I think that they did a very unprofessional job in the way that they handled my tip.
The investigators say they vetted Parsons' tip very carefully.
The lawn sighting has been investigated more than once by a couple of our investigators who've gone back at different times. We even used bloodhounds to go over there and try to see if whether or not the scent for Morgan was there. So we haven't discarded that information. We just have not. That could come to play later on as more information is unraveled. As it is right now, we cannot corroborate that sighting.
But reporter Courtney Stewart checks out the story anyway.
Well, I followed it up by going to the room where she said she had seen this girl and these 3 boys coming out. And the student who was there said it's not possible, and he suggested that in fact there was a wedding reception that was being held in one of the larger, those pavilions, larger houses next door, and he thought that probably what she had seen was guests who were attending this reception leaving that area.
Norma Parson stands by her story.
I'm good at faces, and I may not know your name, but if I haven't seen you in 5 years, I will remember your face. When I saw her in that paper, I knew that was her.
Norma Parsons' story has an eerie similarity to another eyewitness account unearthed by Stewart.
A woman who was arriving from Richmond to attend the Metallica show said as she arrived, and she was coming a little late, she said a group of 4 young men accompanied by 1 young blonde woman wearing black boots and sort of an outfit that matched the description of what Morgan had been wearing, were crossed in front of her car, and she thought that the girl looked wobbly, and she wondered why they would be walking away from the arena when Metallica was about to come on.
With no physical evidence or surveillance video to support either account, it's impossible for police to know whether they are accurate.
Eyewitness accounts in a criminal investigation are very important, but eyewitness information generally always has to be corroborated and confirmed in some way.
With lead after lead falling through, the investigation falters. Then, on November 11th, 2009, the police get a call that may steer them towards some solid physical evidence in the case.
I was notified by the Charlottesville City Police Department that they recovered a shirt that was consistent with the one Morgan was wearing the night she was last seen.
A black t-shirt with tan letters spelling the band's name, Pantera, across the chest, is found by a student on the ground next to an apartment complex. The location, the intersection of 15th Street and Grady Avenue in Charlottesville, is an area heavily populated with university students. If the t-shirt is in fact Morgan's, it will be the first piece of physical evidence in the hands of police since Morgan's purse and its contents were found in the parking lot the day after she vanished. will the shirt's discovery be the lucky break the police need to crack this case? Next, a disturbing find on a secluded farm takes the case in a new direction. November 11th, 2009. Virginia State Police finally get a piece of physical evidence that may bring them closer to solving the Morgan Harrington case. What appears to be Morgan's t-shirt is recovered 2 miles from the John Paul Jones Arena at the University of Virginia. The 20-year-old Virginia Tech student was last seen on October 17th outside the Metallica concert at the arena.
It was a student that was walking along over in near an apartment complex off Grady Avenue, and the shirt was just exposed to the viewing. We didn't believe it had been there before. We'd searched there before. We don't know the circumstances of how it got placed there or how it was found there, but in fact, it was there.
At this point, the Pantera t-shirt is the only new piece of evidence the investigators have to work with.
The shirt was sent to our forensic laboratory in Richmond, and they were able to recover some human hairs from the shirt, and utilizing those hairs and hairs that were obtained from some of Morgan's belongings and from her mother, we're able to determine that through mitochondrial DNA testing that was in fact Morgan's shirt.
But this potentially promising lead turns out to be just another dead end. No other clues are found in the area.
We interviewed numerous individuals who lived in an area and who walked through that area or passed through that area. Other than the shirt itself, we did not recover any other evidence in that immediate vicinity of where the shirt was found.
December 2009. Morgan has been gone for 2 months, and there is still no breakthrough in the case. Jill and Dan spend an agonizing Christmas without their daughter.
You know, hope springs eternal. And that's part of what makes the missing time excruciating, because you say, oh, is she chained in a shed somewhere? It's raining. Is she in the cold? Is she being fed? You fill in the blanks in a terrible way.
With no new leads, developments in the case slow to a standstill until January 26, 2010, when everything changes. David Bass, a farmer in Albemarle County, is taking a tractor ride along his property line to check on the fence. January 26, 2010. Police investigating the disappearance of Virginia Tech student Morgan Harrington converge on Anchorage Farm in Albemarle County, Virginia, where skeletal human remains were found by the farm's owner, David Bass.
I was checking the fences and I saw a dead deer, and I stopped, and it was a human skull, and that's when I called 911.
20-year-old Morgan Harrington has been missing since October 17, 2009. She was last seen hitchhiking on a bridge outside the John Paul Jones Arena at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville.
Certainly, identification of any body, positive ID, is directly relevant to the condition of the body. You know, you send it to the medical examiner in Virginia, and they can do their DNA testing, they can do their dental records, and things like that. And that's what you use for a decomposed body.
Her parents waited home for the results. 2 days later, a dental record match confirms that the remains found on the Anchorage farm are in fact Morgan Harrington's. It's devastating news for Morgan's parents.
It's the worst thing that you don't want to hear, and yet at the same time, it's what I expected. And there was some relief in that it wasn't missing anymore. The missing is the worst thing.
Morgan, the Harringtons' youngest child, is dead. This missing persons case is now officially a homicide investigation. Because the investigation is ongoing, the police will not release her cause of death.
I cannot discuss the circumstances of her death as far as the cause. I can say that the medical examiner has determined that her manner of death is homicide.
To the investigators, the location of Morgan's body on the vast 700-plus acre farm may be the most telling clue to date.
The location is very remote. It's not easily accessed by a vehicle. It's a location that an individual would most certainly have to have prior knowledge of in order, to get there.
I mean, we're talking having to cross over creeks and ravines and fences, go through gates. They felt low risk. They felt, I can get in here without being seen. I know where I want to go. I know the terrain. I know what I have to cross, what obstacles I have to cross. I mean, all that's pretty telling.
Armed with these new assumptions, the investigators continue to work the case. But as time goes by, no significant new leads develop. Until July of 2010, when a cold hit from a criminal case database connects forensic evidence from the Harrington investigation to another case. A 2005 abduction and rape in Fairfax County, Virginia, a Washington, D.C. suburb 3 hours away. But unlike Morgan, the victim of the Fairfax attack survived and was able to take a close look at the assailant. September 24th, 2005. A young woman was walking home from a grocery store in Fairfax, Virginia at 10 p.m. when she was grabbed from behind and dragged to a nearby community pool. The perpetrator sexually assaulted the victim, but took off running when startled by a passerby. The victim fought back, and the police were able to obtain the assailant's DNA. The woman also provided a sketch artist with a description of her attacker. 5 years later, a DNA match links the same man to the disappearance and murder of Morgan Harrington, although the police will not disclose how the match was made. The investigation in both cases is still ongoing, and the police have not yet identified a suspect.
Forensically, there's a DNA connection that Morgan Harrington at some point during her time at Charlottesville prior to her death came into contact with a person who has already been in the unknown subject DNA database for Virginia.
Investigators believe the information will eventually help them solve the case, but they continue to urge the public to utilize the tip line.
There's still a monumental amount of work that has to be done in this investigation, and I feel confident that we will develop a suspect, and I feel confident that this case will solve someday. I'm absolutely certain of that.
Jill and Dan Harrington visited the site where Morgan's remains were found. That discovery has given them some peace, but they struggle to absorb the tragic loss of their daughter.
You have to move forward. I don't think you don't get over it. You don't have closure. You get beyond it.
My daughter's not going to graduate from college. You know, she's not going to get married. She's not going to have children. She's not going to have a career. But the person that murdered my daughter is walking the streets and is doing all of those things. And I think the public needs to be aware of that there is someone out there that continues to walk the streets that has murdered and raped. We don't want another person to have to go through what our family has gone through. No one should have to go through what it's like to have a child murdered.
The Harringtons have dedicated themselves to keeping Morgan's memory alive.
We are able to make a positive impact in Morgan's name. She has a scholarship at the Virginia Tech Carilion Medical School where she worked with her dad. We're building a school for her in Zambia, Africa. So Morgan's not going to be able to go to Africa and teach those kids and see those kids, but a lot of kids will be educated in her name, in her honor, in her building.
On February 5th, 2010, the family held a memorial for Morgan at the St. Andrew's Church in Roanoke. Despite a blinding snowstorm, over 500 people showed up to celebrate her life.
This was about 10 days after Morgan's body was found, but we just felt we needed, I guess, some closure. The weather was unbelievable. Yeah, horrible. I mean, we had 6 to 8 inches of snow and sleet. Yeah, I mean, who comes out? You know, but people came out. It was pretty amazing.
There's such joy in having recovered a body and reclaiming, you know, we have what is ours again. And to not let her be erased.
Tanya Ryder disappeared on Thursday, September 20th, 2007. When a person disappears without a trace, often the most critical information is hidden in their actions and words from the days before they vanished. Tanya Ryder's last known whereabouts may hold the clues to what happened to her. A hardworking woman heads home to catch some sleep after her overnight shift.
As far as I knew, Tanya was just going about her normal day. She would have been getting off work and then heading home.
But she never makes it.
All of a sudden, she's not where she's supposed to be.
She disappeared into thin air, as far as we could tell.
Without a single clue, her husband must search for her, alone.
Not knowing is enough to make you go insane.
Tom is having the battle of his life.
I was waging a one-man battle against overwhelming odds just to even get heard.
To reach the shocking conclusion that turns into a media sensation.
Whoa, what's going on here?
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Thursday, September 20th, 2007, is an ordinary autumn day in Bellevue, Washington, just east of Seattle. The day unfolds on schedule for 33-year-old Tanya Ryder.
Tanya actually had 2 jobs. One of them was at Fred Meyer in the health and beauty aid section as a stalker. That's an overnight shift.
She finishes her overnight shift at 9 o'clock that morning. From Bellevue, she will head down Highway 169 to her home in Maple Valley for a few hours of sleep. And later, she will return to Bellevue for her day job, overseeing the fitting room at a department store.
She was a dedicated worker. If she said she would be there 5 minutes early or 15 minutes early, she was there on the dime.
Tanya's husband, 39-year-old Tom Ryder, also works 2 jobs. By day, he clears land for new housing. By night, he delivers pizza.
We were working insane hours, but we had a goal in sight.
They're building their dream house, overlooking the tranquil Puget Sound.
Well, the idea behind all of this work and all of these hours was to make sure we had enough money to complete the house.
Well, they felt that if they put in a lot of hard work and a lot of long hours, that they could eventually slow down and enjoy the house and each other.
Tanya and Tom have been happily married for 7 years. Like many couples, their personalities are actually quite different.
Tom is very vocal, very jovial, very outspoken. He's a prankster, whereas Tanya is very quiet. She doesn't speak unless she has something to say, and Tom will just talk your ear off.
I'm an outgoing, boisterous idiot. Tanya's the other half of me. She's able to keep me in line.
If you have Tanya here, you have Tom there to balance her. This is the marriage made in heaven.
For now, Tom and Tanya Ryder are living in a house in Maple Valley. Their heavy-duty routine leaves them with little time to relax. They pass through the house at different times and can easily go 3 or 4 days without seeing each other.
We had to schedule a time when our days off matched to actually even say hello. That's pretty crazy.
On Wednesday evening, Tom and Tanya enjoy a rare moment of togetherness.
She was home that night when I got home, so we actually got to talk a little bit and have a little, family time. I made her laugh, she made me laugh.
Later that night, Tanya works her overnight shift at the grocery store in Bellevue. At 9 a.m. on Thursday morning, Tanya leaves the store and starts to head home.
Well, as far as I knew, Tanya was just going about her normal day. I mean, she would have been getting off work at 9 o'clock, having breakfast, and then heading home.
Little does Tom know, Tanya never makes it home that day. Three days since Tom last saw Tanya, he's on the job, clearing a housing tract in Maple Valley.
The city was requiring the wetlands be cleared of all what they called hostile vegetation, which is like blackberry bushes.
Around 10 a.m., Tom's cell phone rings. It's Tanya's boss at her daytime job in Bellevue.
She tells me that Tanya hasn't showed up to her last 2 shifts. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to get Tanya in trouble. Maybe she just overslept. I'm trying to keep my calm and telling her, I'll try and get a hold of Tanya and have her call you.
Concerned, Tom immediately calls Tanya's cell phone.
I started walking back to my truck and dialing Tanya's phone number. She didn't set up her voicemail, so it goes to the little message that says, the cellular customer you are trying to reach has not set up his voicemail box yet.
The mailbox cannot accept new messages at this time. Please try again later. Goodbye.
She may not answer anyone else's calling in, but she'll answer mine. So now I'm starting to worry.
Tom drives to their home in Maple Valley, thinking that perhaps Tanya is there.
I make it to the door and I go, Tanya! And no answer, so I go and I check the downstairs. I double back and go up the staircase, and we have 3 bedrooms up there, and she's not in any of them.
Tom checks the garage. Tanya's car is not there.
The more I'm checking and not finding her, the more the panic is building inside me.
Desperate to locate Tanya, Tom makes an emergency phone call.
911, what are you reporting?
My wife didn't show up for work last night, and she's not home, and I haven't heard from her in 2 days. Can you just check and see if there are any accidents involved on your Ryder, R-I-D-E-R?
I'm not showing any injury accidents in that area, but I can connect you with State Patrol, and you can check if there are any injury accidents on the freeway.
The 911 operator tells him there are no reports of an accident on the highway either. But this doesn't bring Tom any relief. In a single morning, Tom's world is turned upside down.
So at this point, I start to I'm losing it. I start thinking about what could have happened.
For Tom, the reality of the situation starts to set in. No one has seen Tanya since she left her overnight shift at the grocery store Thursday morning.
Tom realizes, oh my God, she's been gone and unaccounted for in everybody's life for 2 days.
Coming up, the clock is ticking, and Tom is struggling to get police to investigate Tanya's disappearance.
I was furious. I was not gonna let them not do their job.
39-year-old Tom Ryder has just learned that his wife Tanya has not reported for work in 48 hours. She's not at home either, and she's not answering her cell phone.
I'm pretty much starting to panic at this point because Tanya will answer my phone calls when I call.
All of a sudden, she's not where she's supposed to be. He knew there was something wrong.
My adrenaline was pumping. I was having trouble breathing right. It's just, where is she?
There is one more place Tom Ryder thinks to check.
I'm headed to her second job, just in case that's my last safe possibility that's in my brain, is that they've changed her shift and she had to work at her second job.
On the highway to Bellevue, Tom keeps trying her cell phone. There's no answer.
So, of course, his mind starts playing mind games. The what if? Has someone kidnapped her? Is she alive? Is she dead?
Somebody stole her car. Somebody robbed her at gunpoint. She's got amnesia and she's in the hospital and they stole her wallet and have her ID. All these different possibilities are just flooding into my mind.
Nearing Bellevue, Tom calls 911 again. This time, he wants to report his wife missing.
911 connects him with the Bellevue Police Department, and they make arrangements to meet him and interview him to see what's going on with his wife.
Minutes later, Tom arrives at the department store where Tanya works. He meets the store manager, and they start talking before the police arrive. The manager tells Tom that Tanya is due at the store within the hour for her regular shift at 1 o'clock that day. Tom waits anxiously to see if Tanya will show up for work.
My brain is still trying to cling to the safe possibilities. It's still trying to believe that she's gonna be here and everything's gonna be all right.
1 o'clock passes. No Tanya.
When she had a schedule, she stuck to it. And so Tom knows that when she has not shown up for work, he has a reason to be really alarmed.
For Tom, there is no longer any question about it. Tanya has truly disappeared.
It was painful and scary, and it was like someone had just torn duct tape off of my eyes. I was in a mode that I hope no one ever has to go through.
Soon, responding to Tom's 911 call, a Bellevue police officer arrives at the department store. He questions Tom.
What does your wife look like? When was the last time she was seen? What was she wearing? Have there been any disputes between you?
The officer determines Tanya's last known whereabouts were at her nighttime job. Immediately, they call the grocery store to speak with Tanya's boss, who is able to locate a security video that shows Tanya leaving the store at 9 a.m. on Thursday, September 20th. It's the last time anyone sees Tanya Ryder.
The tape showed Tanya leaving, walking into the parking lot, apparently normal. No one was following her.
They do have her leaving at 9 o'clock in the morning, Thursday the 20th, and getting into her car and driving away.
She didn't look stressed, like she was being followed.
Because the tape shows Tanya heading home to Maple Valley in her own car, on her own free will, the officer informs Tom he will have to refile a report with the King County Police. John Urquhart is a sergeant at that precinct.
Bellevue decided she lives in Maple Valley, our jurisdiction. Therefore, the King County Sheriff's Office will have jurisdiction.
Tom immediately heads back to his home in Maple Valley.
I know, based on a conversation I had with the officer, that I won't get referred to the right 911 operator until I get closer to home.
As soon as he crosses the county line, Tom calls 911 from the car. This time, he's connected to a King County emergency operator.
My wife is missing. My wife's name is Tanya Ryder.
He goes through the story again, and he couldn't find any record of her being in an automobile accident, so there had to be some other explanation what had happened to her. And he was quite insistent. Something else is going on here. You need to help me.
Tom urges the King County operator to file a missing persons report for Tanya, but the operator declines to file the report. Before anything else can happen, the operator tells Tom, he must check the local hospitals and jails for Tanya.
The moment that I'm making those phone calls, calling the jails, calling the morgues, calling the hospitals, I'm praying that it's the wrong way, that I'm looking in the wrong direction, but I have to look.
There's no record of Tanya anywhere.
So I call back the 911 operator. She's not in any of your jails. She's not in any of your hospitals. She's not in any of your morgues. She's not at home. My wife is missing.
For a second time, Tom asks the operator to file a missing persons report for Tanya.
Just because she's missed work, did you guys have any arguments?
No.
Discussions, problems? Have you checked any of the other family members in the area?
A house in Maple Valley.
Have you contacted any other family members that she may go to?
And talk to her family members.
Again, the operator declines to file the report, insisting that Tom must try contacting Tanya's friends and family members.
History has told us in other cases it's very, very important for family members to be contacted. Oftentimes that'll solve the case very quickly.
I haven't called her family in years. I called each and every one of them.
And they didn't have a close relationship, and they haven't heard from her in months.
Tom calls King County 911 a third time. He knows with each passing minute, Tanya could be in danger. So he pleads with the operator to take the report so the search for Tanya can begin.
He's very, very insistent. He says, I've called the family members, I've called the hospitals, I've called the morgue, I've called the jail. I've done all you've asked me to do.
They're gonna have to take a report now. Now it's their turn, is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking now they're gonna come on board, now they're gonna start looking for my wife.
But instead, the operator declines to file a missing persons report for a third time. He cites certain criteria that Tanya's disappearance must meet before it becomes an active case.
Is the person suicidal? Are they being treated for a mental health issue? Are they elderly? Is there some sort of suspicious circumstance that surrounds their disappearance?
But Tanya's disappearance does not meet any of them.
Can you send an officer over to at least take the report?
Officers don't take these reports in person. She does not meet criteria to take a missing persons report on. She is an adult. She's not been suicidal. What we're telling you is that she doesn't meet the criteria.
Tomorrow.
Okay, what we're telling you is that she doesn't meet the criteria. Okay, we don't go actively searching for missing people, sir.
Even the checkbooks are here. I'm telling you, something has happened to my wife.
The 911 operator suggests to Tom that Tanya likely left on her own.
She's a normal, adult, working female, and she disappeared, which is her right.
She's over the age of 18. She's an adult. She can go where she wants, and she doesn't have to tell you.
Shocked by the operator's refusal to file a missing persons report, Tom struggles to contain his anger.
You're treating it like, oh, well, this idiot, his wife just left him, and oh, hell with it. How long does she have to be missing before you'll take a report?
There is no set time.
What you're telling me is unless she turns up dead, you're not going to care.
At this point, I am trying very hard to keep an even keel in my voice. If I knew where he was, I would have been down there forcing his hand to write the report.
4 days after she was last seen, no official search for Tanya Ryder is underway. 3 911 calls from Tom Ryder have failed to initiate an investigation, and he fears that the longer it takes to start looking for her, the less likely they will find her alive. If Tanya is in danger, the police need to get involved, and the clock is ticking.
Tom at this point is at a loss for what to do without any help, so he has to take it on himself.
Tom contemplates going to the police station to make his case in person, but he fears that they too will reject his plea to start an investigation. Instead, he decides to take matters into his own hands by involving the media.
I figure I'm gonna force their hand. I figured I'm not going to let them not look for my wife. I'm going to call the media and make it loud and messy.
But the news station requires a police-issued case number in order to run a missing person story, to avoid inadvertently reporting false information.
It's a catch-22 because they can't run a story without a case number. And on the other hand, Tom can't get a case number. He has opened every door to obtain an answer, to point him in the right direction, to give him the next step, and all the doors are slammed in his face.
All he can do now is try to search for Tanya on his own. As night falls across the Northwest, Tom Ryder drives up and down the roads of Maple Valley, Washington, looking for his missing wife.
I was just driving back and forth, scanning the edges of the road, looking for any indication that a car had left the roadway.
He's looking everywhere. He's looking in people's windows as he drives by. He's looking for accident scenes. He's looking for grease on the highway.
I lost count on how many times I went back and forth. I was panicking.
Late that night, Tom thinks of one final scenario. Perhaps Tanya has retreated to the site of their future dream house.
Maybe she's just frazzled and she's out at the property trying to relax her nerves. I'm not believing it for 1 second, but there's no way I'm not going to go check.
Tom drives 92 miles to see if Tanya is there. But she is still nowhere to be found.
Hours are ticking by, minutes are ticking by, and Tanya is still missing.
Coming up, Tom fights to get his wife's case activated.
These people aren't helping me. In fact, they're standing in my way. And inside me, something snapped.
"39-year-old Tom Ryder is devastated. His wife, Tanya, has disappeared.
It's crazy. The man was trying to hold it together as his life is falling apart.
He's also furious. Despite repeated calls to 911, Tom can't get police to launch a missing persons case.
I was waging a one-man battle against overwhelming odds just to even get heard.
But time is of the essence, and Tom knows he needs the police if he has any chance of finding his wife.
I know I can't do it all myself. I know I need their help. The chances of finding her were better with more people looking.
"4 days have now passed since Tanya Ryder went missing. Tom makes his fourth call in 48 hours to 911.
Operator 65.
It's Tom Ryder again.
This time, to Tom's surprise, he gets a different response.
This different operator made a different subjective decision from the standpoint that Tom had done everything else we'd asked him to do, and she's still not home.
I believe that she suddenly met the criteria because they figured out that I wasn't going to go away.
What's going to happen is we're going to list her, and if someone runs her name anywhere in the country, they will know that she is missing and they'll call.
The King County Police finally agree to take a missing persons report.
And he's really kind of shocked. Wow, the door opened.
The name Tanya Ryder is finally in the system.
And they said, well, we're going to send an officer out to take your statement.
And that was a great relief for Tom. He couldn't relax, but at least he could grab a breath.
5 hours later, a King County police officer arrives at Tom's home in Maple Valley.
He hasn't even gotten out of the car yet, and I'm standing there waiting for him at his door. I tell him the same things that I told the 911 operator. I need your help to find my wife.
Tom invites the officer to search his home.
I say, if you'd like to search my house, you don't need a warrant. You can look right now.
Tom wants the police department to know, I want you to do whatever you have to do in the least amount of time to do it in order to find my wife. There's something wrong. I feel like she's in danger.
Although Tom is being very forthcoming, in these cases, the husband often becomes the #1 suspect.
He asked me to wait in the driveway because he wants to search the house without me leading him or anything like that.
We're real interested in kind of looking around and determine, did she pack a bag or personal items missing, wallet, credit cards, money, that sort of thing.
He doesn't see any blood spatter. He doesn't see furniture turned upside down. He doesn't see any indication of dispute.
He noticed the things that I was telling him, that her paychecks were on the banister, her bank card was on the counter.
Nothing was missing from the house, and in fact, some of her credit cards were still there.
The officer tells Tom that a King County sergeant will still have to determine whether or not a detective will take the case.
So again, Tom is kind of one step forward, two steps back.
But meanwhile, Tanya's disappearance has a case number now, so the media will run the story.
He gets it out on the news to let the public know that his wife is missing.
Bellevue police say a surveillance tape shows the 33-year-old 5'10" blonde woman getting into her car and driving away as normal as can be.
Tom says there is no reason for her to run away, and now he's putting up a $25,000 reward to help find her.
I called every local media outlet at this point. I was going to make sure there was going to be an investigation.
It's the 5th day since Tanya Ryder went missing. After another sleepless night, Tom goes to work.
It's the only thing I knew to keep my mind from going over the endless scenario of possibilities. If I was doing nothing, I was thinking these horrific thoughts.
After seeing all the news coverage, Tom's boss asks his employees to draw up hundreds of flyers. They email copies to as many people as they can.
By 10 o'clock that morning, they had flyers from Canada all the way down to Oregon and all the way over to Utah.
They, of all the people, knew what type of a couple Tom and Tanya Ryder were and how devastated Tom was. So anything that they could do and jump in and help him, they were there.
At King County Police Headquarters, officials finally decide to hand Tanya's case to a detective.
So we didn't find anything that really told us she left voluntarily, nothing that said she didn't leave voluntarily or had been a victim of foul play. So at that point, there certainly was enough questions as to where she was, so the detectives needed to do follow-up work beginning first thing Monday morning.
To start the investigation, the detective needs Tanya's banking information, so police can track any recent activity on her accounts.
We asked Tom, what kind of credit cards or checking accounts does she have?
They need credit card information. They need bank statements and accounts and PIN numbers and codes.
I told him that we had a joint account and a joint savings account, and that Tanya had a Nordstrom Visa, and that's all she has with her.
Later that day, Tom tries again to reach Tanya. He can't let go of the feeling that she's out there, somewhere.
I decided to try and call her phone again because it's been giving me this weird feeling of knowing if her phone's still alive, maybe she is. And when I called this time, it went straight to the message. It didn't ring at all, which meant the battery died.
Whatever hope Tom has that Tanya is alive evaporates.
There's nothing left that I can do. I've done everything that I can do. And inside me, something snapped. I kind of fell down and I couldn't get up. Can't move.
Just when he's lost all hope, Tom's cell phone rings. It's the King County investigator. With some incredible news. Police have tracked activity on one of Tanya's bank accounts.
We're going, whoa, what's going on here? Somebody's using that card.
Coming up, a surprising tip leads police to an unexpected interrogation.
And something's not right with this guy's story. And something's just not right with this guy's story.
39-year-old Tom Ryder is experiencing the single worst trauma of his life. His wife, Tanya, has disappeared.
I'm feeling hopeless. I'm feeling completely powerless.
But 4 days after Tanya's disappearance, police think they have a break. There is some activity on one of Tanya's bank accounts.
The detective calls Tom and lets him know that there's a ray of hope.
It basically gave me the impression that Tanya was alive, and that she was out there and she was okay.
Tom calls the detective on his wife's case to inquire about the details of the new discovery.
I asked her specifically what account she was monitoring that she saw activity on. She said, I saw activity on Tanya's checking account.
As far as we knew, she had the only access to the account. Therefore, any activity on the account would be through her debit card.
Unfortunately, there is a mix-up with the account information.
I said, that's a joint account. That was me. I put the gas in my truck because I was out looking for her and ran out of cash.
Tom realized it was his purchase off of the card, and it was nothing to do with Tanya. And so he was again devastated.
Amid the confusion, one thing becomes clear. There is no activity on any of the accounts that connect to Tanya Ryder. Which means there are still no leads in the case, no evidence to suggest foul play, and no clues to where Tanya Ryder might be.
There has to be some evidence of where she might be to give us a starting point, and we didn't have that. Again, she disappeared into thin air, as far as we could tell.
Now that the bank records are a dead end, Tom demands police start physically searching for Tanya.
A natural reaction for people is call out search and rescue, call out your helicopter, go look for her.
But police insist that without a hard lead, there's little point beginning a search.
Remember, we've got her leaving the city of Bellevue, driving 20-some miles to Maple Valley. That's a big area. So where do you search for Tanya Ryder? The reality is, you don't, because she could have gone anywhere.
Tom also demands that they check Tanya's cell phone records.
He's also thinking, why can't they get information from the cell phone company?
I knew they had the ability to trace a cell phone's location to within a cell tower's radius.
But legally, the cell phone company can't just give that kind of information to police.
The problem is, people have a right to privacy. People expect that the police are not going to be able to trace their movements unless there's a reason to do so.
In order to obtain the records, the phone company requires a warrant. But King County Police can't get one.
In the state of Washington, to get a search warrant, you have to have probable cause to believe a crime has been committed. And at this point, we did not have probable cause to believe a crime had been committed. We didn't have an inkling or a suspicion that crime had been committed, much less probable cause.
With no other leads in sight, King County detectives continue to pursue Tanya's cell phone records. Meanwhile, Tom is breaking down from the seemingly hopeless investigation.
Tom is beside himself. He's sleep deprived. He can't keep food down, and he starts breaking down. He's wasting away, mentally and physically.
When you're living through it, it is 100% nightmare. It is everything in your world slows down to a crawl. I was losing all control. And the whole time, you cannot take your mind off of the well-being of your loved one.
But the situation is about to get far worse for Tom. Tanya's boss at the grocery store where she was last seen calls police to voice doubts about him.
This is calling from the Bellevue Fred Meyer store because I wanted to get some information for somebody because one of my employees is missing. Something's not right with this guy's story. And I just need to let somebody know that. Something's just not right with this guy's story.
Eight days have now passed since Tanya Ryder disappeared. The recent suspicion raised by Tanya's boss is the only thing police have to go on. So they turn their attention to the husband, a usual suspect in these types of cases. But they have no evidence against Tom Ryder.
We have to eliminate people from being a suspect in cases like this. And certainly the husband is the #1 suspect. Absent some other sort of evidence that might implicate him, what we decided to do was give him a lie detector test, put him on the polygraph, and see how he does.
I get a call from the detective. Can you come in for an interview? No problem. I got nothing to hide. They just wanted to get some facts straight.
Tom heads to the Kent Justice Center, where he sits for a preliminary interview before the polygraph. As the interview progresses, the nature of the questions starts to irritate Tom.
Was your wife all right the last time you saw her? Was your wife unharmed? Did you do anything to anger her? So it's just, did you hurt your wife? Everything except for, did you kill your wife?
Tom gets the feeling police are doubting his innocence.
They were trying to coax a confession out of me. They had made up their minds that I had done something.
All he could think of was, are they waiting for me to stand up and scream, I'm guilty? I murdered her?
I wasn't fully aware of just how rattled I already was. It was like, this is it. They're gonna be crucifying me down here.
Aching with fatigue, Tom feels the walls closing in on him.
My wife never laid a hand on her, never raised a finger to her. I haven't done anything. I knew I was at my breaking point.
Coming up, the stunning conclusion to Tanya Ryder's mysterious disappearance.
So we put detectives out looking to see what they could find. I mean, it's a needle in a haystack.
In the span of 1 week, Tom Ryder has gone from a loving husband to a person being questioned about his wife's disappearance. Now, Tanya's boss is raising suspicions about Tom to the police.
Something's not right with this guy's story. And I just need to let somebody know that. Something's just not right with this guy's story.
Since there are no other leads in the case, police ask Tom Ryder to take a polygraph.
He's thinking, these people want to prove me guilty.
They wanted me to rule myself out or convict myself.
While following up on the lead from Tanya's boss, police are still pursuing a warrant so the phone company can release Tanya's cell phone records.
This is something that took time and a tremendous amount of frustration that we couldn't get to those cell phone records.
Finally, there's a break. A sympathetic judge signs the warrant, and police are able to retrieve Tanya's cell phone records. The information they obtain takes the investigation in a completely new direction.
The detectives were able to look at the records and determine which tower was accessed. They were able to narrow that down into essentially a pie-shaped area, 3 to 5 miles out in a particular direction.
The latest is that it's actually hitting off the southeast of that tower. We can give you the latitude, longitude of that tower.
Within this area is the highway Tanya Ryder takes on her daily commute.
So now we know she was probably on her way home. So we put detectives out walking down that highway looking to see what they could find. We fan out on each side of the roadway and just start walking down the shoulder. And this is a state highway. There's a lot of traffic, 50,000 cars a day on this roadway. I mean, it's a needle in a haystack.
As detectives are grilling Tom Ryder, police continue with the Maple Valley Fire Department to search desperately for any clues.
It could have been just the phone tossed out of the car, or it could be the whole car, or nothing at all.
At 3:20 p.m., officials make an astonishing discovery.
We found a vehicle about a quarter mile south of the south end of Jones Road.
He finds the car down an embankment, off the highway, totally out of sight, but the car's down an embankment about 12 feet, upside down, and Tanya Ryder is hanging upside down, still in that car, 7 days later.
Rescue workers are in shock. They check inside the car to see if Tanya is alive.
170, we got movement.
We got movement.
County, I need an aid car, please.
Okay.
This is that missing female, Tanya Ryder, that was on the news. We found her vehicle, and she's still moving inside of it. Oh, my God, this was a car accident. I think a car accident, and she's been trapped for this long.
Okay.
Wow.
Tanya Ryder has been in a terrible car accident and has been trapped 10 feet below the highway. Almost unbelievably, 8 days later, she is still alive.
The car was on its side in a precarious spot, driver's side down, so she was on her side for 8 days hanging from the seatbelt. The airbags had deployed.
We opened the door and made contact with Miss Ryder. She was on her left side, suspended by her seatbelt in her seat, unable to reach anything. and she looked like she was hurting. She was just laying very quiet and just asking for help.
Officers on the scene report the stunning turn of events to King County headquarters, where Tom Ryder is trying to rule himself out as a suspect. They give him the news.
He said, "We found her car." It was at that moment, the moment that I almost collapsed. And I said, "Is she all right?"
Miracle survivor, a woman missing for 8 days, turns up alive, trapped in her car, thanks to her cell phone.
A woman who was missing for more than a week has turned up alive just as police were getting ready to question her husband about her disappearance.
Her seatbelt suspended in her car. Ryder was dehydrated but conscious.
Firefighters carefully remove Tanya from the car. She has been without any food or water for 8 days, and she is suffering many severe injuries.
She was then placed in the back of the medic unit and then airlifted to Harborview Hospital.
Her organs had started shutting down because of lack of water intake. She had broken bones. They thought that she was going to lose her leg. She was in horrible shape.
Doctors tell Tom that in a few more hours, Tanya might not have survived.
My wife is in critical condition and fighting for her life. Because of the way she was pinned, and they're hoping not, but they may have to take one of her legs. The only thing I ask of them is to give her the best chance.
Miraculously, doctors save Tanya's leg, but her condition remains critical. Hours after the rescue, Tanya Ryder wakes up in the hospital.
The first thing I remember is waking up and seeing a nurse next to me and feeling very thirsty. I wasn't aware of what had happened to my body.
Tom and Tanya's reunion is emotional for both of them.
I didn't really understand everything that was going on, but when I saw Tom, I saw my comfort space. I knew everything was going to be okay.
She recognized me, and I saw tears well up in her eyes. Her expression softened, the tears started to flow, and she knew that I was there. And I love her more than I love my own life. It was a big relief, but it was also absolute pain to see my wife bandaged from head to toe.
Tanya's car was found less than 6 miles from their home in Maple Valley, a fact that haunts Tom to this day.
I drove right past where she was off the road and couldn't see her, but I didn't know it. I drove right by her lots of times. I didn't know it.
In the aftermath of their extraordinary ordeal, Tom struggles to balance gratitude with rage.
She was in that car for 8 days. All I know is no one else should have to go through what she went through, when the simple pinging of a cell phone could have led him to her in an hour.
1 week after Tanya's rescue, the King County Sheriff holds a news conference and apologizes to the Ryders for the limitations of the sheriff's office in this particular case and for the frustrations Tom endured. Today, 3 years after the accident, Tanya and Tom still live in Maple Valley. Their dream house is on hold for now. Tom is working with writer Jan Sidnap on a book about Tanya's remarkable ordeal.
I sure hope that no one else has to go through what we went through. That's our hope with this book.
Tanya still struggles with physical repercussions from her time in the crushed vehicle. She says she retains no memory of the crash or what came after. Instead, she is sustained by the fact that she survived.
I feel that God has a reason to have me here. Definitely a miracle. There's a higher power involved with why I'm alive.
Some people aren't that lucky. Of course I feel lucky. How could I not? I got my wife back.
I just try and take each day and appreciate what I have and move forward with that. Some days it's different than others, and I just take it as it comes.
All right, guys, thank you very much for coming today. I have called you for a very special thing. We have an event day after tomorrow, and Khushi, you will make the necessary arrangements. Khushi.
Yeah, sure, sir.
You seem a bit off today.
Everything is good, sir. Don't worry, I will do.
All right, I am counting on you. All the very best.
ਕੱਲ ਰਾਤੀ ਰੋਈਆਂ ਮੈਂ ਤੇਰੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਸੁਣਿਆ ਏ ਤੂੰ ਵੀ ਰੋਇਆ ਮੇਰੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਚ ਲੜਾ ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਤੇਰੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੁੰਡਿਆਂ ਚ ਅੜੇ ਤੂੰ ਵੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਨਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਨਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਾਂ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਖਰੇ ਜਿਹੇ ਦਿਖਾਵੇਂ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਖਰੇ ਜਿਹੇ ਦਿਖਾਵੇਂ ਇੰਨਾ ਨਾ ਸਤਾਇਆ ਕਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮੇਰੀ ਜਾਨ ਨਿਕਲ ਨਾ ਜਾਵੇ ਮੈਂ ਜਦ ਵੀ ਕੁਝ ਬੋਲਾਂ ਤੇਰਾ ਨਾਮ ਬੁਲਾ ਤੇ ਆਵੇ ਪੁੱਛਦੀ ਮੈਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸੱਚ ਸੱਚ ਦੱਸੀ ਵੇ ਇੱਕ ਵੀ ਨਾ ਗੱਲ ਵੇ ਤੂੰ ਦਿਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੱਖੀ ਵੇ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੀ ਵੇ ਤੇਰਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਵੇ ਸੁਣ ਮੇਰੀ ਸੁਣ ਲੈ ਯਾਰ ਵੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੋਹਣਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਏ ਹੈ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਲੜਦਾ ਏ ਜਦ ਵੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਵੇਖ ਕੇ ਸੜਦਾ ਏ ਰਾਜ ਤੂੰ ਹਰ ਵਾਰੀ ਹੋਏ ਰਾਜ ਤੂੰ ਹਰ ਵਾਰੀ ਲਾਰੇ ਲਾਵੇਂ ਇੰਨਾ ਨਾ ਸਤਾਇਆ ਕਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮੇਰੀ ਜਾਨ ਨਿਕਲ ਨਾ ਜਾਵੇ ਮੈਂ ਜਦ ਵੀ ਕੁਝ ਬੋਲਾਂ ਤੇਰਾ ਨਾਮ ਬੁਲਾ ਤੇ ਆਵੇ ਤੂੰ ਯਾਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬਹਿਨਾ ਏ ਤੇਰੀ ਦੂਰੀ ਤੇ ਮਜਬੂਰੀ ਦਿਲ ਮੇਰਾ ਏ ਸਹਿੰਦਾ ਏ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਜਾਵਾਂ ਨਾ ਜਾਵਾਂ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਮੈਂ ਪੁੱਛਦੀ ਆ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਦੇ ਮਨਾਉਂਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਰੁੱਸਦੀ ਆ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਚੰਗਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਏ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਸਿਰ ਮੇਰਾ ਤੂੰ ਖਾਵੇਂ ਇੰਨਾ ਨਾ ਸਤਾਇਆ ਕਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮੇਰੀ ਜਾਨ ਨਿਕਲ ਨਾ ਜਾਵੇ ਮੈਂ ਜਦ ਵੀ ਕੁਝ ਬੋਲਾਂ ਤੇਰਾ ਨਾਮ ਬੁਲਾ ਤੇ ਆਵੇ
तो अभी आपने हमारा दुनिया सॉन्ग देखा, सो प्लीज कमेंट करके बताना कि आपको सॉन्ग कैसा लगा।
एंड हाँ, वीडियो को लाइक करना, जाने से पहले रिपल म्यूजिक स्टूडियोज के चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लेना। थैंक यू, बाय बाय एवरीवन।